Yeah. Okay, let's talk lips.
Hey there.
When it comes to the lips, there are 6 different things I look out for. The cupid's bow, the mouth corners, the V-shape, the mouth line, the lower lip, and the philtrum, or the philtral columns. As we go through each drawing, remember to keep these features in mind. So let's start with drawing a relaxed lip. Based on our source image, I'm going to break down the lips into the features that we identified earlier. Once I've done that, I go straight to my paper. I start with the cupid's bow, and in a relaxed lip, usually the cupid's bow will tend a little slight downwards, and then will kind of come out in a horizontal way, meeting the mouth corners. Then I start with my V-shape, and then I connect the V-shape to the mouth corners. Then, simply, I just take the lower lip and connect it from mouth corner to mouth corner, making sure that the lower lip is nice and voluptuous. Then I add my philtral column. Now let's try tackling a relaxed side lip. So breaking it down to the 6 basic features we identified earlier, I go back to my paper, and I start again with the cupid's bow. Now when it comes to a side profile of a lip, usually the cupid's bow will be longer on one side and shorter on the other. As you can see here, because our subject is facing left, the right side of the cupid's bow will be a little longer than the left. So keep that in mind. Then I start my V-shape, which always pretty much goes under the bow of the cupid's bow. And then I make my lines that are connecting into the mouth corners. And then once I have that established, I go ahead and put in my lower lip. Now, you'll also notice in a lot of your subjects that you are drawing, when it comes to the lower lip, usually the left side, or usually one side of the lip, is a bit more rounded than the other side. Because our subject is facing to the left side of the lower lip is much more rounded. So I wanted to really capture that. And something really cool too, the bottom portion of the bottom lip almost flattens out. Now this is very, very important to consider when you are actually going ahead and drawing a side profile of a lip. And when it comes to making the philtral columns, those 2 lines on top of the lips, because our subject is facing to the left, those 2 lines are going to lean a little bit more towards the left. So always keep that in mind as you're doing this. Okay, so now let's look at a closed mouth smile. Let's break that down. As you can see, we got the basic features all illuminated for you, and then we're going to go start sketching. So I start with the cupid's bow as always, and as you can notice, the mouth corners actually start to curve up to show that smile. And basically, the rest of the lines on the mouth will follow suit. So basically, once you pretty much set your cupid's bow and mouth corners, everything else in your mouth kind of follows suit. So now let's try tackling a side view of a closed mouth smile. We break that down into its basic features, and then we start to draw. So once again, cupid's bow. And like we did in the previous example, when it comes to a cupid's bow on a side profile, one side of the cupid's bow is always going to be longer than the other side. And because this is a smile, the mouth corners will go up a little more than usual. And as you can see here, because our subject is facing right, the leftmost cupid's bow is much longer, therefore exposing much more lip on the left side of our subject. And as you can see, the lower lip and everything kind of follows suit, all connecting to the lower mouth corner. Okay, so let's go ahead and work with a shocked open mouth expression. These are a little challenging, but so much fun. Here it is all broken down, including the teeth. And so I go in with my drawing. Again, I start with that cupid's bow. Now the cupid's bow is going to have a more of an O shape. So the lines of the 2 ends of the cupid bow go way, way down. I go with my V-shape, and then I connect those 2 lines from the V-shape going into the other 2 lines of the cupid's bow. So you're going to see that it pretty much forms like an oval shape, almost like an O shape, if you will. So keep that in mind. And basically, I'm just following suit with my lower lip. And you want to keep remembering, you want to keep that open O kind of shape. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. And when it comes to adding the teeth, first I just try to see what shape I see in the source image here. So the teeth kind of have a bowed out shape at the very top of the mouth. And then I go ahead and add in those lines to represent where the teeth are. And from there, you can either stop here, or you can go ahead and actually detail out the actual shape of each tooth and make those necessary shadings as you see fit, which I'm doing right here. And to actually sketch in where the tongue is, I just make a nice little line and shade the two corners of the mouth, kind of illuminating the dark parts of the mouth and subsequently showing where the tongue would end up being. Okay, this is going to be a little more challenging, but totally doable. A side profile open mouth. So let's break that down into its components, like we see here with the teeth. And then we start, again, with a Cupid's bow. And because we're dealing with side profile, one side of the Cupid's bow is always going to be a little bit longer than the other side. Because our subject is facing right, the left side of the Cupid's bow is going to be longer. So then I go in and make my V shape and start to create the connecting lines from the mouth corner, which again, everything kind of slopes down because it's an open mouth, gasp, shock shape. And that always resembles an O, or like an oval shape. So that rule always stays in play here. So once you start to create the mouth, you want to go ahead, like we did with the previous example, and put in the general shape of our teeth by first making that swoop line, then making those vertical lines to represent each tooth, and then you can go ahead and make another line on the right hand portion of the mouth to represent the tongue, which you will then shade in later. And I'm just adding in a little bit of little details here and there to clean up my mouth shape so it looks like my subject is looking to the right. Now let's tackle a smiling, open grin. So these types of things are exactly like the closed smile, except that you're showing teeth this time. So once I have everything mapped out, I start with my Cupid's bow. And just like we did with our closed lip smile, the edges of the Cupid bow kind of curve up, meeting the mouth corners, which are slightly more up than usual. Then we have our V shape, and all those subsequent lines that come from the V shape then just meet up to where the mouth corners are. And once again, you're just making an upward bow that's representing a happy face or happy smile. Then what I start to do is I mark a spot about where I would usually put my lower lip, and I would go ahead and just make a line connecting that to the mouth corners. Now this is going to represent where I put my teeth. And then I do another almost equal width to that space I just made, and I make another one beneath that and repeat the same process of making a line connecting it to the mouth corners. That is going to be my lower lip. Then I go back in and start to put in the lines for my teeth. And as you can see here, it's very simple. Basically, I just color in the corners of the mouth edges to represent the dark portions of where you don't see teeth. You have successfully drawn a grin. Okay, now let's capture a side grin. Now we're going to break that down into the various components like we've done in the past, and then I start with my Cupid's bow. Again, because this is facing to one side of the Cupid's bow is going to be longer than the other side. Our subject is facing left, therefore the right side of the Cupid's bow is going to be longer. And because our subject is smiling, the mouth corners all tend to go upwards. I start with my V shape, and I connect all those subsequent lines to those mouth corners. And then I measure out a distance of where I would usually put my lower lip. This is where I'm going to be putting in my teeth. Then I go ahead and make another almost equal width of space to go ahead and place my lower lip, which follow once again the mouth corner lines. And then once I'm done with that, I would then go ahead and place in my teeth. Now our subject here, you only see her top pair of teeth and mostly a little bit of her gums. So once I place in my vertical lines, I just go ahead and add in the little details. So parts of the mouth that I don't see, I just shade in and just pencil. And then I would go ahead and add in like the gum line and any subsequent detail I see fit here. So those are some of my tips on how you can draw various types of lips and certain expressions that they can do. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give this a like and to subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button, you know what to do so that you can see more helpful tutorials like this from me to you in the future. And remember, love yourselves and always have fun with your art. See you all next time. Bye.